Hey everyone, welcome back. Yesterday was a really tiring day. Me trying to figure out and get around Times Square and get around a huge crowd. That's why all the IBOs there. So of course now it's the next morning, quite clear. Obviously because of the time of the day, it's less warmer than it is in the middle of the day. So right now it's going to be quite a day. I'm first walking now to eat some breakfast. Satisfy, quench myself, and then we will take the subway towards Battery Park, which I visited last time but didn't really show due to some super reasons. Bit disturbing to show, but yeah, stay tuned. So now I've switched camera. As you see, there's a view of the mini neighborhood. This part of New York compared to where I visited is a bit more on the other side. And I think we should cross quickly, run before the waiting sign reappears. There. So I think our goal is we're gonna go on a mini tour across. It's a mini ferry tour and I think an audio tour, as far as I know, across with stopping at Ellis Island and Statue of Liberty Island. Unfortunately, I don't think we booked the one where we actually enter it, but we are gonna have a glimpse of it. We're gonna have a view of it on the island. I think so. Let's see. So as you notice, this is the breakfast place we're in. We're in a place called Pure Bistro, and the place is completely deserted as we're having an early start. And you guys may ask in the comments, why aren't you going for business now? It's because today the schedule's been reformed, and today I'm not really going to be working. I'm just going to be having meeting and consultants with people later in the afternoon. So I thought, why not start the day with something pleasant, as I'm here for a limited time and I don't know if I'll ever get to come back. But yeah, here we are. Wait for the steak of. So okay, here's my first drink because I'm quite tired. Actually, we had to wake up early despite an end to the long day. Having a nice cup of latte and matcha flavored. So, and because it's really rich, trying to stir it with some sugar. Oh god. And it's important to stir the solution so we actually get the compound mixture of it. Oh god, it's dripping. Okay, so the food has just come. This is what I'm eating. Quite simple, but for the sake of getting started and getting going, it's just having a Florentine omelette, some spinach with some cheese, some buried inside. And when it said potatoes, I expected potato wedges or something, but no, I got sweet potatoes. I think that's better. But yeah, and some bread with butter, I think. Alright, let's get eating. Guys, we just finished and we're about to go.
And we've tipped the waiters for excellent service. So let's leave the restaurant.
So we're entering Bergen Street Station, the Manhattan side. And yeah, the two sides can be confusing with two completely different entrances and no direct crossing way in all stations. Okay, let's get down and get swiping. Transferring to the next train to get on to Battery Park. That's our next train. So yeah, sometimes I feel the system's not So we got the security checkpoint. Bring it over. So we're climbing the cruise, and for better views, despite being in the open, we are up here.
At the forward and aft ends of each cabin. Stairways are located at the rear of each deck, and a small safety stairway is located forward of each deck. Please use only the rear stairways to
Okay, we're about to depart.
life jackets are stored in overhead racks on the first and second decks, and in storage boxes on the top deck. Instructions for donning
Yeah, we will
life
when we
jackets
get to
are
better
posted around
place.
the vessel.
Yeah,
Are positioned on the top deck forward.
now we're just
Facing
back.
First and second decks.
There we go, the park is going away. Ready for excitement into some into new areas of New York.
You do not anticipate using any of this equipment.
Oh wow.
Free to contact the crew
There's the port.
if you have any questions.
We're at I think the lower Hudson Bay, it seems. And we're getting going pretty quickly. Let's see. There's some commercial towers receding as we go along. And ahead, I'm sorry for poor camera quality. I should use some business money to get a new camera. But anyway, here's the Statue of Liberty, if you see it quite vaguely ahead. And there we go, the park's leaving us. Is it the boat that's receding or the park that's receding? So here on the right we see Liberty State Park. And New York's
An informative
receding.
audio tour is included with your ticket and may be picked up when you arrive on each island.
There we go, we're approaching the island. There's the Statue of Liberty Island on the right of us. Full view. And it's green because of its age. It's kind of rusted now. Still looks good though. So this is Statue of Liberty Island, and we've come to a stop.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you'd like to visit the statue today, please start making your way down to the main deck. Our next stop will be Ellis Island. Once again, if you'd like to get off here to visit the statue, start making your way down to the main deck at this time. This boat will be headed right out for Ellis
Here
Island.
we are out at the Statue of Liberty Island. We see it from its backside. The island's fairly large actually, once you step foot on it. And when we explore it or go around it, we can listen to. The statue is significant as announced on that ship because it has lots of history, and the history is quite significant. It was actually a gifted thing. And the advantage of traveling and spending your spare time going over, because you should keep in mind wherever you go it does have some history, and it's always significant and important to know what was behind it. Then you'll admire it more, appreciate it more. But yeah, here we are on the island, and we're gonna reboard in a few minutes. Oh wow, here we have the museum if you want to try more detail, and we still see the Manhattan skyline few feet away. The ferry ride seemed to take us somewhere significant, but no, it was just a tiny steps forward to an island which is just encircled in between the Hudson Bay, the lower edge of the Hudson Bay. And this is the back side only of the statue. There's a lot to admire here and a lot to do here. Now as we switch part of the island, here's the front view of the Statue of Liberty, and unfortunately we didn't get to climb it, and I don't think we have the time to climb it, but yeah, we can climb up to the head, I think, and have a fantastic spectacular view of New York. And once again it's green because it's rusted. It's existed for quite a long time, and same reason, it was as a gift from France, and they were discovered it later. You can read more about the history of it, and once you know it, you will admire it more, as I told you. It's always important to do some research and learn about what you see as you travel. And while I'm traveling primarily for business, when I get the chance to view the city in detail, that's what I like to do. So once again, it's important you research the country, the city, the culture, everything. And more views ahead, spectacular views. Here's the bridge and just a helicopter flying, not significant. So stay tuned as I go along. Only 1 hour here at this Liberty Island. We're catching our cruise to the next island. We're going to spend some time there and then we are going to return to the park of origin and I'll proceed with my work. And now we're departing from one of the islands we got off on, the Statue of Liberty Island, and I think it's soon going to leave us. Side view. Honestly, arriving here kind of gave me Titanic vibes. And in fact, we're going to Ellis Island next. It feels like we're leaving New York to Ellis Island. So Ellis Island, as you know, was a place where the poorer people had to stop for immigration. They had to verify them completely to ensure that they were the right people entering. So any immigrants of New York, wherever they're sailing from, typically from Europe, would have to stop at Ellis Island, only the lower class, to get checked before then sail on to New York. So it's just kind of like an old ancient place of immigration which still exists now for its memorable purposes. But yeah, let's see how it goes. And there's the view of Manhattan too. Everything.
Self-guided exhibits. Information is available at the desk on the
There we are, we're approaching Ellis Island, the old immigration fort. Lots of history here. Okay, let's get ready. And there are both views receding. The Statue of Liberty Island was actually quite close. Just to go around, so we go to the next park midway. And here we've come to a complete stop. So this formerly was the place where the immigration patrolling took place, with receiving around several thousand immigrants who used to come here for security screening. And it was a tough, strenuous process and it's very scrutinizing, it seems. But now, as this system isn't really used anymore, it's been converted into a museum for display of the history of this place. So here we are inside the harbour, and once again this place system actually stopped quite long ago, more long ago than was thought initially. 1950s, when air travel became prevalent. And this was for ship immigration, but for air immigration it was difficult to come here, so this kind of stopped because most people started immigrating into New York from Europe or anywhere by plane. And actually now this is a museum, lots of display, it looks really nice. So we have just covered the first section of this museum. It was a historical section where back in the 1500s, the struggle for people to immigrate into New York and how the whole migration factor historically basically. Some people having to do it because they had to, and some people because they thought it's a golden opportunity to seek the best they could. And immigration wasn't easy then. Some people couldn't afford it. It was hard to immigrate. But now we get to the next section of the immigration process, which was occurred from later on within like the pre-1950s. This is where we get to the whole experience of Ellis Island and the whole immigration process. And how's it? Ooh, looks nice. And I'm pretty sure the place then had a similar structure. Obviously it's been renovated. Many historical places, as you know, usually stay, but they're renovated to something different. It depends on what the intentions are. But since this was extremely significant historically, the whole structure stayed, just they changed it to a museum to teach us now what it was like. And the different sections, I think it's the big part of it. So as we look around, we see the dome of people who have immigrated. Not everyone, but the people who have photos. I mean, we don't know. They could be historically significant. There could be even one of those. But anyway, group of people, and I think what they immigrated for. Brothers, and yeah, and different descriptions of what type of people they were and their intentions of immigrating here. These were the peak immigration years and the different people that were brought together, and it's said by many that the immigrants had to take English courses once they arrived, so that they all are integrated and not just separate ethnic backgrounds immigrating to USA. So they ensured many were equal. So we've covered this main area of the immigration, and it showed how. So we actually saw that immigration placed in detail saw different years, and peak immigration years how harsh they were in controlling the amounts of immigrants and the way how historically they were racially and every way harsh to create an integration. For example, there was a time where they did not allow Asians, so the immigration process was harsh and that changed things a lot just for the sake of it. But yeah, we saw a lot. So we're getting back. I think the boat's here. We have to run. So this was fun. We even saw the main part of it, which was the examination where they do medical examination, security examination, and they check you. And some people don't get in, but it really does depend. Anyway, it's late now. I really have to actually attend some meetings, so I have to get back on the cruise. Okay, we're back in the boat, heading back to Battery Park, and then from there I'll quickly step to Wall Street and take the subway onwards. Okay, so stay tuned. We're back in Battery Park now. We've finished the cruise. It's been a long day. It's been more than 4 hours since we were out there on one of those islands and on the ship itself, on the vessel. So now it's kind of late. I'm kind of late. I should really be rushing off to work now. But I did get to see a lot, admired a lot, learned a lot. I learned more about the history of both places. Statue of Liberty had a smaller history, but Ellis Island's history is significant. From all the immigration process to the people who couldn't get immigrated, to everything from the history of the background of the cause of immigration to America, to the whole Ellis Island immigration process, from a medical screening to a security screening. It's a long process, but a lot happens, and people are scrutinized very carefully. But now, because we fly there, as I said, we don't really need that system anymore. We now have the typical security systems and everything. Anyway guys, we're back at Battery Park and I should get going. Thank you so much for watching. Please give it a thumbs up. I know this is long and I know the vlog itself could be better, but well, who knows, when traveling, you also need to admire it and you need to do what you have to do. But yeah, let me know what you think. Thank you. And guys, you should visit New York, and when you do go there, you should visit some museums, some of those places like that, and obviously just admire the nature of the streets and everything. Alright, that marks the end.